My interviewee was not comfortable with showing her identity. Adjustments have been made to hide her face and the sound of the voice. The documentary will consist of some of her personal photographs from the trip. Hi, I am here with Elsa Deary, who has recently come back from a trip in Guadalajara, Olancho, and Honduras. Elsa is originally from Quito, Ecuador, but immigrated to the United States with her mother and sister when she was a young girl. Can you tell me a little bit more about the foundation that you work with?
The foundation I work with is the Olancho 8 Foundation. I became involved in this foundation through my sister-in-law and her church in New Hampshire.
How long have you been involved with this foundation?
This past trip was my second trip, and I plan to participate in these mission trips for as long as I am able to.
If you were to describe the foundation's missions in only a few sentences, what would you say?
I would say that the main objective of the Olancho 8 Foundation is to bring hope to those who no longer have any. Our main focuses would be in education, health, and establishing access to clean water.
How do you and the foundation afford the travel and materials needed?
Most of the foundation is based on monetary donations, but we also accept material donations as well. The foundation will accept material things such as school supplies, including backpacks, books, and uniforms. We also accept other material donations in the form of health and hygiene supplies. I'm able to afford to partake in these mission trips by personally writing letters to those in my community and family explaining the foundation's mission and what I would be doing during my time there. I also go to members of my community, such as my dentist, who will supply me with toothbrushes, toothpaste, and floss to give out while in Alonso. The money that I raise on my own is money that I'm able to use for situations that I personally feel are important.
Where do you stay in Olancha and for how long?
We stay in a housing community that is provided by the foundation. In this housing community, there are bathrooms with running water and a kitchen where we can prepare meals. We're also provided with this full-time security detail and not permitted to leave the housing community after dark.
Can you tell me of an experience that has really stuck with you after your time in Olancho?
There was one family that I decided I would help with my money. The family consisted of a single father because their mother had died a few years before, and his 20-year-old daughter helping to raise her own child and six younger siblings. The family of nine was living in a one-bedroom house, so with the money I raised, we were able to buy beds for the family and supply them with clean water. Before we were able to help them, the family was sleeping on the floor and using water that the entire community, even the animals, used for cleaning and the bathroom.
What are some of the things you have learned from attending these mission trips?
Seeing how many others in the world live and the everyday struggles they have to face have taught me to be humbler and more thankful. I know that I'm thankful to be living in the life I do in the United States. I no longer take things for granted, especially seeing that so many people in the world don't even have access to basic needs such as clean water and a bed to sleep in. When I am home and I start to feel myself get ungrateful, I just take a minute and remember everything that I have in my life that the people of Olancho do not. While in Olancho, there is no hot water, so I have really learned to appreciate the hot showers I could take at home. Many people don't even think about the option of showering in ice cold water, but for so many that but for so many not only are cold showers the only option, many are not even using clean water.
Can you tell us one of your favorite experiences you've had during your mission trips?
One of my favorite experiences actually happened on this past mission trip. We were in town when one of the locals invited us back to her house for lunch. Normally, we are told not to eat outside of the housing community because the food is not regulated and they do not have clean water. But this time our security team allowed it, and it was some of the best food I ever had. Usually in the housing community, most of the meals consisted of rice and beans, but at this lady's house, she had tacos with fresh vegetables and some of the best guacamole I ever had.
What are some of the main points you would make if you had to convince another person to volunteer for the next mission trip?
The experience I have had during my mission trips are some that are indescribable, and I really think that everyone should have the same opportunity to understand what helping others who are less fortunate is really like. The feelings of gratitude and appreciation for what you have are huge for me after this trip. I think that we get so wrapped up in our own worlds that we forgot to stop and appreciate what we so easily have, such as clean, warm water and a bed to sleep in, and knowing where our next meal is coming from. I truly believe that everyone needs to realize that so many people in the world are not nearly as fortunate as we are, And there are so many ways to help. You don't just have to volunteer on the mission trip, even though I highly recommend that, if possible, everyone should volunteer for at least one mission trip in their life. The Alonso Aid Foundation, and I'm sure that there are many more foundations that do similar things, accept donations, and no donation is ever too small. I think that everybody should help in any way they can. Volunteering for the first mission trip was one of the best decisions of my life, and I will continue to volunteer my time and resources for as long as I am physically able to.
Thank you, Elsa, for your time and participation with my documentary. The Alonso Aid Foundation does have a website if anyone wants to donate or learn any more information.